Rapunzel. Long ago, in a faraway kingdom, a king and queen longed for a child. When the queen became ill during pregnancy, all hope seemed lost. But hidden deep in the forest, a magic golden flower, born from a drop of sunlight, glowed with healing powers. For centuries, an old woman named Mother Gothel had kept the flower secret to preserve her youth. The king's guards discovered the flower and used its power to heal the queen. Soon after, a beautiful baby girl with glowing golden hair was born, Rapunzel. But Mother Gothel, now deprived of her eternal youth, snuck into the castle at night. When she tried to cut the baby's hair, its magic disappeared. She realized the flower's power lived inside Rapunzel's uncut hair. So she kidnapped her and hid her in a tower far from the kingdom. Rapunzel grew up in a tall tower with one window and no door. Every year on her birthday, she saw hundreds of floating lanterns rise into the sky, not knowing they were released by the kingdom in hopes of finding their lost princess. She dreamed of leaving the tower, but Mother Gothel always warned, "The world outside is dangerous. This tower is the safest place for you." Rapunzel spent her days painting, reading, dancing, and caring for her 70 feet of magical hair. But her biggest dream was to see the lanterns up close. Elsewhere, a charismatic thief named Flynn Rider stole the royal crown and while fleeing the guards, stumbled upon Rapunzel's tower. Climbing inside to hide, he was immediately knocked unconscious by, of all things, a frying pan. Rapunzel, curious and terrified, examined him. After some chaotic arguing, they struck a deal. Flynn would take her to see the floating lanterns, and she'd return his stolen crown afterward. The moment Rapunzel stepped out of the tower, joy and fear swirled inside her. Grass, sky, flowers, and wind were all new and magical. Along the journey, they visited a tavern full of rough, intimidating men who, thanks to Rapunzel's kindness, revealed their own dreams and soft sides. Slowly, Rapunzel learned the world wasn't as terrifying as Gothel claimed. Finally, Flynn brought her onto a small boat. As night fell, thousands of lanterns lit the sky, lanterns released every year on Rapunzel's birthday. Flynn handed her a lantern of her own. As they released their lights into the sky and their reflections shimmered on the water, their eyes met. And they realized this wasn't more than a journey. It was love. But Mother Gothel, realizing Rapunzel had escaped, set a wicked plan in motion. She manipulated events to make it seem Flynn had abandoned Rapunzel for the crown. Devastated and confused, Rapunzel was taken back to the tower. There, she began to notice something. Paintings, symbols, banners, each marked with the sun emblem of the royal family. Memories flashed in her mind, and suddenly it all clicked. She was the lost princess. Flynn rushed back to rescue her, but Mother Gothel ambushed him. During the struggle, Flynn was gravely wounded. Rapunzel cried out, "If you let me heal him, I'll go with you forever." But in one final act of love and sacrifice, Flynn grabbed a shard of glass and cut Rapunzel's golden hair. Instantly, her hair turned brown, and all its magic vanished. Mother Gothel aged rapidly, collapsing into dust as the last remnants of her stolen youth faded. Flynn collapsed in Rapunzel's arms. She sobbed, whispering, "You can't leave me." A single tear, filled with pure love, fell on his cheek. That tear glowed with the last spark of the sun's magic, and Flynn breathed again. Love created its own miracle. Rapunzel returned to the castle. The king and queen, seeing their daughter after 17 long years, broke into tears and embraced her tightly. The kingdom celebrated her return. Flynn, whose real name was Eugene, stood proudly at her side. And from that day on, Rapunzel was never alone again. The lanterns that once carried hope had finally guided her home and brought her true love to her. And they lived freely and happily ever after.